You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about educating others. So when we go through big life transitions, and maybe you've been in an accident, maybe you have a disability, maybe there was a time in your life where you were in the wrong relationship, whatever it is, when we go through an event in our life and we're able to take in the lessons from surviving that, we want to pay it forward. We want to be able to share with those in our life, even strangers, tips on how they can prevent that in their own life or to cope and manage and get through it. So when we're talking about educating others today, I want you to think about what in your life have you overcome and how can you inspire others to get over that hurdle themselves. And also, this can be done even on a more lighthearted route. So, for example, let's say you're really good at technology. You have the ability to educate others, teach them something, empower them to correct or manage a tech issue on their own. If you're a really good cook, again, rather than cooking a whole meal, invite a friend over, cook together, teach them something. It's all about getting through life together and finding a way to empower each other to learn new skills, and especially the coping skills, right? Because if you were able to overcome a challenge in your life, you want to pay that forward. You want to be able to, give someone else the tools that you've attained in being able to live full out. Now, we're also going to have in our next segment our inspirational guest. Her name is Jahisha Sullivan. She's going to talk about how she educated others in terms of the diagnosis of AIDS and HIV that she was given decades ago. But she didn't let that prevent her from living full out, and she's going to share her story with us. Also, if you would like to hear today's show again, go to livingfullout.com. All of our episodes will be waiting there for you. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Well, hello. Nice to hear from you.
Well, nice to hear your voice as well. How can I help you today?
Well, I'm trying to find a way to, I go to a group 4 times a week, and there's a couple of people in there that no matter when you're in group, they're called on. The case manager just lets them talk. They take up all the time in the group, and nobody else gets to participate. Yeah, it just drives me nuts. So every day I'm supposed to be relaxing and enjoying the group. They're there, doing their thing. It just drives me nuts.
So
I don't know what to do.
Well, here's what I want you to do. Okay, first of all, we don't want you to drive yourself nuts. Okay, we're going to stop that. No more going nuts. Okay, but okay. I can actually appreciate that. Okay, so when we meet people in life, let's say it's the angry person, let's say it's the overly emotional person, let's say it's the person who hogs up the conversation, right?
Correct.
There's learning from how we handle those people. Okay. So rather than letting them get the best of you, I want you to look at them and learn what you can from that personality, okay? And it teaches you something that you might want to do differently in life. So you know who those people are that suck up the time, right? So I want you to tenaciously put yourself out there. Talk before they talk, okay? Get first in line, okay? That's number one, the first thing that you can learn in how to evolve yourself. Secondly, take it like a game, okay? These people are talking, and on and on and on they go, right? Strengthen your own skills about how to interject in a conversation. Have you ever heard of, like, being persuasive or being enrolling?
Assertive.
Assertive, okay, assertive. So what you want to do is you want to test out if they're going on and on and on, how can I inject in that conversation and pull it over to me? It's kind of a game. Do you get that? So if that person's going on and on and on, it's a skill to be able to pop in and say, you know what, I hear you. In fact, in my life, right? And then you start telling your story, right?
Yeah.
And if they interrupt you, now here's the third skill. When somebody interrupts you, how do you graciously put them in their place? Now you're learning another skill. So when they interrupt you, you can say, you know what? Give me 5 minutes. Give me 2 minutes, right? So rather than looking at these people as an annoyance, as taking up time, look at it as to how you can grow and become better, how you can be more assertive to talk before they talk, how you can get better at popping into their conversation and swaying it towards you, or how you can get better at telling them, hey, I need 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Do you see that?
Yes, I do. I do.
So don't let them take your power away. You got a lot to say, right?
Right.
But it's finding out a way to manage what they're saying with what you're saying. And if you do that, I know that this will become less of an environment that drives you crazy and more of one where you're looking at the personal growth in strengthening your communication skills, because that's really what this is about. It's about how to be better, how to be more assertive at jumping out there. Exactly.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot in group.
Right? But see, there you go. So that's why you have these people in your group. Call it the universe, call it, the life lessons you're meant to get. These people are not there by accident. So you got to take the lessons, strengthen your communication skills, and then you'll be great. But thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you for your help.
You're very welcome, and I'll be wishing you all the best. But go out there and be assertive, okay?
Thank you, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. I'm so glad that she, called in because she educated all of us, right? We need to become more assertive, but at the same time, it's about finding that balance between being a talker and being a listener. And also looking at other people not like they're taking up the air that we all share, but what can I learn from this person? How bold they're being, how maybe selfish they're being. How does that make us feel? Why am I so irritated? Why does it drive me crazy? This is why we grow and how we can, evolve to become the best version of ourselves that we can be. Now, I'm getting word from our producer. We have another caller. Let's say hi to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for having me as a caller. Appreciate you taking my call.
Absolutely. What's going on today?
So I've been through a pretty traumatic housing situation experience, still kind of going through it at the moment, basically caused by somebody else's actions, one of my other roommates' actions. And I just want to just move on, close that door, just close the chapter and just pretty much start afresh. But a mutual friend was like, oh, why don't you just hug it out and talk out and stuff like that to be friends again. But I don't really trust him anymore, and I just can't see a friendship between us. I just can't really get over what's going on. So I'm not really sure what to do.
It sounds like right now this is just a little raw, a little tender. So forgiveness sometimes can happen immediately. But sometimes forgiveness takes a little bit of time, could be days, could be weeks, could be years. But you need that space to really flush through your own body how all this made you feel and why. So give that space. Tell that person, listen, I don't wish you bad things. I just need some distance. And then as you take this distance, to get the lesson from this whole thing, you have to look at why did you react the way that you did? Why did it emotionally trigger you? Why did you feel so angry? What could you have done differently to not be in that situation? And that's really the lesson. So the next time you're in another partnership, because partnerships can be living arrangements, they can be business partnerships, they can be volunteer. So you just got to find a way to interpret why this made you feel the way it did, and then how you can make changes in the future so you're not so touched by it, okay? But I really appreciate you calling in, and we'll be wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
And for everybody
Appreciate
listening, it's all about educating others. That is how we live full out together. We'll be coming right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us. We'll be coming right back with Teresa Sullivan. Stay tuned.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
You'll have the energy to skate through anything.
nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
Now that's catching air.
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room
Just move it your way.
for an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active, because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For
at
those
5.
caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar.
One night, I was at a bar.
I was having fun with my friends.
I was having fun with my friends.
I had one too many drinks.
I had one too many drinks.
I got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road.
And all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road.
It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
It happened so quickly, the cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about educating others, taking the life lessons that we've learned through experience, maybe education, and being able to pay that forward and make somebody else's life just a little bit easier, or giving them the comfort to keep going. Now, our inspirational guest today, Teresa Sullivan, wow, what a powerhouse, honestly. She may be soft in her voice, but I will tell you, she has been through it, being diagnosed with both AIDS and HIV. She's standing with us today to educate others on the virus and how to be diagnosed and how to handle people who do have the condition and give them loving care. And so I'd like to welcome Teresa to the show.
Yes, thank you, Nancy. I'm so glad I'm here today on your radio show so I can help those who need to hear the sound of my voice to empower their lives.
Well, and that you do. And wow, there's so much I want to say when it comes to your story, but I think I want to go back a little bit and give our audience a little bit of context. Okay, so can you share with us, pre-diagnosis, okay? Can you share with us about the environment that you were in, the relationship that you were in, because I know it wasn't the best, and just kind of your overall daily life that you were going through?
So, Nancy, pre my diagnosis, I was in a very intimate partner relationship with my former partner, where it was not just about verbal and mental abuse, but also physical abuse that happened to me. I was in a relationship with him where I was scared. My self-esteem was very low. And in my day-to-day was where I was in that relationship really was a very frightening time for me. And every day I was walking around on eggshells, wondering if I'm going to say the wrong thing to cause him to hit me. Am I going to do something that's going to cause him to simply lash out at me again, or even just verbally or mentally abuse me while I was already feeling deep down in that relationship. So that's what it was like for me prior to my diagnosis.
Well, and you were in a time in your life where you had done drugs and you were trying to reclaim your life. You were trying to get back on track and try to heal and do all the right things to get healthy. And one day your caseworker, she was kind of testing you on different things, and she wanted to throw in for good measure an HIV test. And you said, okay. But really that was a game changer, that moment. Can you share with us how, that unfolded for you in terms of coming back with the results?
Yeah, so like you said, I was trying to get my life together, trying to come off of drugs, live a healthy lifestyle. And I really wanted to do that because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And my case manager, because of my past history, she recommended that I get an HIV test. I went in, I'm like, sure, I'll take this test, not thinking anything about it. And totally, weeks went by, totally forgot I got that test. I'm being called back into her office about 3 weeks later just to be told that the test came back positive. I was in a state of just freeze. I was like, okay, I'm hearing you, but I'm not hearing you. Could you please repeat that? And she repeated it a couple times, and I kept saying to myself and to her, could you take the test again? Maybe it's wrong. And she informed me that it goes to a lab. They do the test several times before they send it out to us to make sure it's accurate. And she apologized that this was happening. I remember just crying for about 2 hours in the lobby. And at that time, I was not really being given any resources about where to go, right? So I had to figure out things on my own.
Now, at that point, Teresa, do you automatically think, gosh, did I get it from my drug use? Did I get it from my partner? I imagine your mind is racing. What did you find out in terms of how you got HIV?
So what I found out as time went by, yes, you be up in your head about where did I get it? Is it from my past history with drugs? Is it my current partner that I'm in this relationship with? I found out later that my partner was positive and did not tell me. And we had unprotected sex during our relationship, and that's how I contracted HIV.
Well, and you were together like 12 years, like a long time.
Very long time.
You were not sleeping around. You didn't have multiple partners. You were committed. And when you got that diagnosis, because we've actually had several guests over the years that have acquired different conditions. And in fact, I remember this one guest one time, when he got cancer, he felt automatically like one day he felt healthy and good. The next day he felt like he had this cancer virus going through his body. And it changed the way he felt with his body. He felt toxic. And I don't know if that's how you felt also.
So I know prior to even getting that test that, I was experiencing what they call flu-like symptoms and night sweats. But, I chalked it up as, hey, I must have the flu or something, a bug is going around. This will pass. But it didn't seem to pass, and it just kept coming back. And so my body felt really bad. And that, also is another reason why I was okay with getting the test, even though I know that the results came back positive. I'm glad I did, because that saved my life. And at the time, my body was, breaking down, and I needed to get on medication. So I think, in my perspective, is that I was glad that I did get that test, because it opened the doors to get me into treatment.
And that is so you to be positive. But I know that at the moment it was heartbreaking. And you had actually had family that had had AIDS and HIV. So were they your first go-to?
Oh, yes, my family was always my first go-to, because HIV was not something new that happened to my family. I had a cousin in the early part of the epidemic in the early 80s. He was a gay black man who got a diagnosis in 1993, and he died in 84. And then I also have a sibling, my sister, who died and passed away from complications of an AIDS condition in 2005. So this is not new in my family. And when I told my family, especially my older sister and my son, they opened their arms and was willing to take care of me and be part of my process and help me breathe through the process. Because, like you said, when I did get there, it was devastating, and I did fall into a state of depression at that time.
Yeah.
Right, and I started isolating myself away from people, but my family was not having it.
And when we come back, Teresa, because we're going to go to a quick break, I want to pick up there, because whatever bad news we've all been given in life, we all sink into that dark place. But how do you get out of it? How do you get hopeful? So stay with us. We're going to be coming right back more with Teresa's interview. Today it's all about taking the life challenges we've had, taking those lessons and educating others. So stay with us. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be coming right back after this break. It's all about educating others as we live full out. We'll be back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow, right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about educating others, being able to take what we've learned in life and make somebody else's journey a little bit easier by paying that forward. And our inspirational guest today, Teresa Sullivan, is such a great example of what it means to be given bad news, but yet channeling that into a greater good, because she has dedicated her life to educating others. She actually was diagnosed decades ago with AIDS and HIV, yet today she's here with us to, give us the inspiration that we need to be able to live full out. So welcome, Teresa, back to the show.
Thank you, Nancy.
Absolutely. Now, I want to take a second here. You got an AIDS diagnosis, you've had the HIV diagnosis, but I think oftentimes those two are blurred together. Can you share with our audience the difference between when someone is diagnosed with AIDS versus HIV?
Yes, absolutely. So, like you said, too often people combine them together when they're actually two separate. HIV is just a virus, and an AIDS condition is a condition that your body has taken on when your CD4 count drops below 200 and you have a very high amount of virus in your blood, right? It's a marker of, at one time or another, that your immune system, because you were not on treatment, has been weakened to the point where the CDC gives you a diagnosis of an AIDS condition, right? Doesn't mean that you have to stay weak, sick, or that you're going to die, because people are living long and healthy with either a HIV diagnosis or AIDS diagnosis because of the advancements of medication. But what I want your audience to know is that HIV is the virus. You're going to always have, that mark of HIV. And once you get an AIDS condition, that stays in your medical record, and for good purpose, to help medical providers know the best treatments for you. And that's always going to be in your record. But does that mean that you're going to always feel sick and be weak, or that is this an indicator that you're going to die sooner? Absolutely not, because of the advancements in treatment today, that people who have an AIDS diagnosis, once they're on treatment, they get the viral load down, and then they get their CD4 count up, and they become what we call suppressed viral load. And we have a lot of great research and information around U equals U, which means that if you have an undetected viral load, then you cannot transmit your virus sexually to your sexual partner. But you must have that undetectable viral load at least 6 months, right? In order for that to be part of your process. And it's a thing that we known before, but we're just putting it out there, and the CDC gets behind it and backs up you.
Well, it's amazing how far it's come. And, I know Magic Johnson and Charlie Sheen and different people have come out over the years, but what is the difference? Is there any difference between the medical treatment that they might be able to get with different financial means versus you when you were diagnosed?
So these are famous people with a lot of money, and guess what? The same medication I have privilege to having, it's the same medication that they have to take, regardless of their financial wealth, right? Now, the difference is that they might have people they can hire for nutritionists, trainers, right? Have some stuff taken off their plate so they're not so stressed out, compared to maybe me or other people. But as far as treatment is concerned, they don't take anything different than we do. We take all the same medications.
It's all the same. Okay. And
it's all the same.
And back when you were diagnosed, and you were sharing with us in the last segment that you were really depressed. I mean, you even wanted to commit suicide. I mean, you wanted to be done. But thankfully, that light inside you, shined brighter and brighter and kind of got you through that hard time. But there's a lot of stigma around HIV and AIDS. It's gotten better over the years, but I'm sure when you started coming out to others beyond your family who was loving to you, I mean, how did you tell other partners? How did you share that with friends, new friends?
Yeah, Nancy, this is still, even though fast forward 36 years into this epidemic, the HIV stigma is one of the things that keep people from getting tested, keeping people linked to care, because they're afraid of how people are going to treat them. When I first came out and my family was there to support me, it doesn't mean that my whole community supported me. And getting those words out your mouth is very challenging, right? And what I tell people, before you disclose your status, because there is going to be some stigma, and it is going to be an opportunity for you to educate people who don't have the information they need to have, so that we can dismantle HIV stigma in our communities. Is educate yourself first. Find out exactly what's going on with you. Find out how your treatment works. So when you're relaying the information about your status, you're relaying it in a way that's positive, and you're educating people so they can have the information as well. And that's a great place to do in our community, because our communities are having so many misunderstandings about what HIV is and isn't, and a lot of misinformation is still out there that fuels HIV stigma.
Right. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
As far as my personal, HIV stigma with partners, for a while, because I was in a state of light depression, I didn't want to be in a relationship. So, and I didn't get in a relationship because I myself also feared how people were going to treat me, how was people going to react to me, and through supports and education and, educating myself, I got through that. It didn't happen overnight. It's a process.
It is a process, absolutely. And, today we're talking about educating others. And I know sometimes, our audience here might be more educated by articles that they read online or, TV. But, there's been several movies that have come out over the years, such as Philadelphia. But I'm just curious, having lived with HIV and AIDS, what movies have come out in recent years that you feel are a good portrayal? So if we wanted to kind of watch a 2-hour film and become educated, but kind of feel what somebody like yourself has gone through, are there any good examples of that?
Absolutely. There's a movie that I feel that's really hits the mark about the reality of what families go through and people living with HIV go through. And that movie is called Precious. Queen Latifah's in that movie. She had another movie. So any movie that has Queen Latifah talking about HIV, especially the one Precious, is reality. It gets to how communities and family actually deal with this stigma, this treatment of people living with HIV. This movie is great to watch, and it's not like that movie-made movie that you find in Hollywood where they're like giving half truths. This is based on a true story.
Well, and thank you for directing us to that. It's just good to have a recent film example that we can turn to. And again, I have a lot of respect for you and your courage. And it's kind of like what you were just talking about with finding the words to, tell somebody that you have HIV. And part of the thing is just tearing off that Band-Aid in some ways and just saying it. Because once you say it, there's this relief. You don't know how they're going to take it, but they're either going to take it well or they're not. But at least you've put yourself out there. And so for our audience today that's listening, they might know people who have HIV or AIDS. They might have it themselves. What advice would you give them, having been in that situation yourself? What care should we go through in terms of talking about this or helping someone through it?
Yeah, so what I would say to the audience today, if you are knowing someone that's living with HIV or has an AIDS condition or yourself, educate yourself first. Get an educational program, before you disclose your status to somebody, because there's still stigma out there. And I want everyone to feel safe when they do that and not be drawn back into rejection and a depression state, because they felt like it was so important for me to tell that person. But educate yourself first. Get all the information that you need as a person living with HIV. And if you're knowing someone that's living with HIV, educate yourself. Tell them about resources that they can use. And get comfortable in the skin that you're in first, right? And be okay with who you are, because HIV is not what defines you as a person. It is a medical condition that you are living with and that you are a full person. And so many wonderful things that you are should be talked about first before your HIV diagnosis.
Oh, thank you so much for mentioning that point, because I get that completely. I mean, you have HIV, yet it doesn't label or define who you are. I have RP, which is retinitis pigmentosa, which is why I'm legally blind, but that doesn't define who I am. And so everybody's going to have something. And maybe it's a life transition. Maybe you've gone through a divorce. Again, that shouldn't label you. So, Teresa, thank you so much for being on today's show and educating us and courageously sharing your story.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, Nancy.
Okay, we'll be wishing you all the best. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
And for everybody, thank you. And for everybody listening today, I mean, she put herself out there today, not to just tell her story and have it be entertaining, but she really wants you to get that whatever you're going through, it's about channeling those words, talking about it, turning to others for support. It may seem scary because you're not sure if they're going to reject you or accept you, but when you keep any of that negativity, any of those thoughts in your mind, in your body, it's kind of like being a soda can, right? You shake it up, what happens when you pop the top? It explodes, right? The whole purpose of today's show is that we don't explode, that we educate those in our life, that we help bring each other up and give each other the stability when we're feeling weak, when we're feeling scared. And that's what we strive to do at this show here today as well. So we're going to keep on taking your calls in our next segment. So again, that number is 800-333-0001. Really want to make sure you reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com if you need resources on today's topic. And if you have an inspirational story like Teresa, we'd love to hear from you so we could have you on as a guest on our show. Again, that email is connect@livingfullout.com. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We're going to be coming right back talking more about how to educate others in overcoming challenges so that we can all live full out. We'll be right back.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait, hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment. Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Mom, what? Huh? What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold
I want to
day.
be a football
I want to
stadium.
be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When you survive a challenge in your life, after you get through it, you want to step back and you want to realize what were the lessons that you learned. How could you take that and make someone else's life a little bit easier? How could you take that challenge that you faced and make a legacy out of it? One of survival, determination, and living full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I am Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And we have been talking about educating others. And again, it's really about going through life and just gobbling up as many life lessons as you can. And whether you're helping out a sibling, a friend, one of your children, or even a stranger, it's about making their life easier. But in order to do that, you kind of have to digest the challenge and then figure out, what did I learn? And then be able to pay it forward. So that is the goal of today's show. And hopefully throughout listening to our callers and our guests, that you've been able to identify where in your life you have places where you can educate others in doing just that. So I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for taking my call. My name is Faye. I'm an 80-year-old great-grandmother who loves to discover new places and experiences with my friends and family. As I begin to have more difficulties assessing certain transportation and buildings, I'm often trying to find the right words to express my concern for my safety or ability to keep up without missing out on future trips and activities. Do you have any tips for me on how I can live full out but also feel more comfortable asking for help to keep safe?
You know what? You are a girl after my own heart. I hear you. I really do. Because actually being legally blind myself, there's a lot of times that I might feel also kind of uncertain about whether I should travel or go do something because there's unknown factors that I may not plan for or things I can't see. And I get that with you as well. Now, let me ask you a question. When you go somewhere, and let's say it's somewhere you haven't been before, what is the biggest challenge? Is it that you get nervous and, kind of unsettled by the unknown? Or is there any physical challenges that you have?
Probably all of the above.
Okay. Now, are you fairly open with telling people what you need when you need it? Or do you kind of hold that back and you try to do it yourself?
I probably try to do it myself.
Okay. And when we do that, what happens, right? We're like, we try to do it ourselves. And the thing is it's when we try to take all the world's burdens on our shoulders. It's when we try to be a superhero, even in moments when we know that we need a little assistance. The thing is, that's when we fall. That's when we hurt ourselves, right? That's when we get ourselves in a situation that we don't know how to find ourselves out of. So what I encourage you to do is I encourage you to build a support team. So let's say you're going to go somewhere out to a restaurant, right, for the first time. Maybe call that restaurant in advance, ask for the manager, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Faye. I'm going to be coming there for dinner tonight. I have a really hard time reading the menu, but I don't want to be stressed out by trying to analyze what I'm going to order because I just don't see well at night. Can you read the menu to me in advance? So maybe pick your meal in advance, okay? Or if you're going to go somewhere, a venue for the first time, let's say it's a museum and you're going with people that are visiting, call in advance and say, you know what, hi, I'm Faye. I've never been to your museum before, and I'm just wondering, what support you might have for those that might have physical challenges, or if I've never been there before, do you have a tour guide? So do you see how sometimes we can prepare in advance for our travels, for experiencing new things? Can you do that?
I will, and I hadn't thought about that. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome, Faye. And you know what? You may be 80, but you sound like you're 30. So I want you to go out there. I want you to live full out with no fear and just have fun, okay? Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Goodbye, Nancy.
Bye-bye. I love that she called in for that question, right? Because it's about having life with vigor, with excitement. And there's always going to be those fears. There's always going to be those challenges. And you know what? That's when you chime into our show. That's when you come here for support, and we will help get you through it. Our entire Living Full Out family, thanks you for listening. We have Rich, and we have Aaron, and John, and Raj, and Riley, and so many people that are dedicated to you being successful and just really joyful in life. Again, go to livingfullout.com if you want to hear today's show again, and go to all of our social medias to stay inspired. Most of all, here's to you living your life full out and going after it in a big way. Remember to educate others as you go along. If you get a tip or an insight, it's like a gift, and you want to give it away. You want to let people know so their life can be just a little bit easier. If you want to hear us on the go, remember to go to your app store. Just look for Living Full Out Radio, and we'll be there to keep you motivated. Here's to all of you living your life full out. Thank you for listening. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.